So let's talk about the case made by the mayor, the most articulate case yet, I would argue, of all the opportunities he's had to come out and say why I feel this is necessary, because a lot of people kind of getting chilly when they talk about a 75-cent increase in the property tax rate. Let me quickly run down what he told the Memphis Business Journal were his main points. First of all, the proposed rate right now would go from $270, which is actually the lowest, but quite low from where it's been in past years, to $345. It would be the first increase in the actual rate since 2012. The rate was $340 in 2016, so it would be a nickel above that. And the arguments he made basically for the tax rate increase are that other cities are also struggling right now. It's not just Memphis, especially after the pandemic and the reduction in funds that a lot of local governments are facing. He made the point that inflation has far outpaced revenue growth, and that's causing a lot of strain for cities. He also, and this was new to me, said that before coming up with his number, he asked every city department to trim their budget by 10%, and that most did what they could, that it was significant enough that he was able to reduce the gap from like 99 million to where it is now. He said it would also provide a 3% raise for every city employee, and he said a stronger financial position would create better bond capacity for Memphis so that the city could invest more resources to clean up its neighborhoods and just be a more attractive city. So those were his main cases. Of course, the Greater Memphis Chamber has come out against the property tax increase, saying that it will hurt development. The Chamber is saying that right now Memphis is a finalist for half a dozen different projects that are in the pipeline right now worth $1 billion, and worry that the property tax rate increase might jeopardize those projects. So let's go down the line. Otis, I'll start with you. What do you think about the mayor making this case? And Memphis Business Journal is, with all due respect to the Memphis Business Journal, he's got a lot of people to reach to make this case.
Yeah, he does. And I thought that he made a very compelling case for what he's trying to do there. I mean, you listed several of them, and they all make sense to me, especially when he was talking about blight and cleaning up neighborhoods. That really hits home to me. I've been complaining for months about all the trash along Walnut Grove, which is where I have to drive every day. And so if some of this money is going to help to do that, I'm all for it. The salary increases, I think, are appropriate, especially if you're trying to increase your numbers of police. That's a good thing. And I thought he made a very good counter-argument to the chamber by saying, if we don't clean up the city, we are not going to get, we can be a finalist all day, but we are not going to be the one that they choose, because they'll come here and they'll see all that blight and all of that trash and all these weeds driving from the airport. They won't want to live here. I thought he made a very compelling case here for this, and we'll just see where the council goes.
Property tax hikes are never popular, as you know, Susan. But do you think he made his case effectively?
I think so, also, and I agree with Otis. But this is also the first time I ever recall a mayor that's made the connection between the quality of services we offer as a city and economic development. Mm-hmm. And I think that's really important, that yes, blight, investing in neighborhoods, parks, police, and let me be a little bit of a be a little bit sour about this too.
Okay, you sour.
I don't think he made his case to the Memphis Business Journal, which is an outstanding publication.
Oh, yeah. But
it's limited. It doesn't go to the entire community. Yeah. So I think he has to make the case to people to. And I don't see why he hasn't designed a campaign to do this. I mean, if he goes to 3 churches, he's going to reach far less people than he would with one television ad. And I think Deidre would agree with me on that. But how does that $30 million that Mayor Young wants for the city, how does that make me feel safe? Mm-hmm. I think he has to make that argument. Okay. He's laid out a great business plan, but everyone is going to ask how increased tax is going to make my life better. And I think that's where he has to go. And as far as the chamber is concerned, I loved his response to the chamber.
Yeah, me too.
And come on, really, to the Chamber of Commerce, increase in property taxes are going to dissuade some company from coming here. They're going to all get pilots
They're gonna get pilots anyway, right.
And they're not going to have to pay much in
Good point.
property taxes.
Exactly.
So what's the point? I think the best thing he can do is to develop a message about a tax increase, how it makes your life better and your life better, and then he figures out a way to deliver it to all the people, not just to a specific group.
You agree maybe a more full court press is needed on this?
I absolutely agree, and I agree with Otis and Susie, and I want to say that he needs to flip that message and say, I'm doing what you asked me to do to the community. When he ran for office, he talked about those things that were so critical to the community, and he listened. Mayor Young listened, and people told him, my neighborhoods are dirty, we've got potholes, I'm afraid in my neighborhood. Yeah. So he needs to flip that and say, okay, community, I'm doing what you asked me to do. I'm trying to turn these things around, and I need your support with this tax increase to make it happen, right?
The problem he's got, though, is he has a short time frame.
Real short time
This has to
frame.
be voted on by the
At the
council.
end of June,
So
by the
why
end of
he
June,
didn't really wait a little bit longer to another year into his second year rather than do it his first year, I don't know what his consultants and what his team advised him about, but delivering a message, as you and I both know, takes time and it takes repetition. And I think he's going to have a tough time getting a tax increase. He's not going to get a 75-cent tax increase. He'll get something.
Right.
But let me throw in something else real quick. Jerry Green suggested...
City Councilwoman.
City Councilwoman suggested, she found out that we have $140 million in uncollected citations and fees.
I think they found out the number was even larger than that,
Well,
more than 200.
And she said, let's put out there, you pay 50%. Pay 50% of what you owe, and we'll forgive the rest. I think it's a great idea.
I do too.
It's a campaign that we ought to do, but we ought to also say, pay 50% by X date, and if you don't, we're coming after you for the whole thing.
Well, and we talked about that last week, and while we certainly didn't discount the idea, I'm just not sure that a lot of these people who owe that money are going to get altruistic all of a sudden and say, okay, I'm going to go down here and help the city. We'll see about that. One other very, very, very quick...
Well, they're going to be altruistic about their wallet. That's what they're
Well, I mean, if it works, it's fine, and there's some money there. One other very quick thing on this, Richard. When this first came up, we said on this show that the mayor needed to look for some cuts first and then go... He has done that.
Yeah.
And he went to every department, and he got what he could get. And so he did what I think a lot of people were asking him to do. I think he has made a very compelling case.
And that's tough.
Yeah.
I mean, it's already,
yeah.
it's already a shoestring staff.
Right.
And so it's tough. So, yeah, he did his due
But when you
diligence.
first make the pitch, say, I want to raise your taxes, that he should have, I think one of the first things out of his mouth should have been, and by the way, we've looked under every rock. I've already gone to my department.
Yeah, he should have
heads,
said
and-
that on the front.
Because this is the first we're hearing about it,
Yeah, I
is
agree.
my point.
I
But
agree.
anyway, I agree, he's making some good strides in that argument, and I'm with you on Blight, too.
Yeah.
Someone
Yes.
who flies in and out of this city
Yes.
often. That little drive between 240 and the airport is embarrassing.
It
It's a
is.
wasteland
I'm like,
almost.
can't imagine what the first
I
impression
love
some
the
people
M,
have.
though. I love the M
I
with
like
the
M.
flowers, yeah.
Right. It's just then when you see the 3 bumpers after you pass the end.
It's a good thing we've had a lot of rain lately, so the flowers get watered.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, we got to take a break. We'll continue our conversation, this time about 2 politicians, both kind of in hot water, but chose very different paths in how they reacted to it right after this.